everyone. Welcome to the Fortress of Solitude podcast. I'm your host, Sergio Pereira, and today I have John Kramer himself, Jigsaw, on the line. Jigsaw, how are you?
Oh my word, hi, I'm fine, thank you.
Let's play a game.
Just the most polite Jigsaw you've ever come across.
Jarrod, it's great to have you again on the show. As always fun. And I mean, today's show is actually pretty fun because I know both you and I really enjoyed the first Escape Room. That was a really cool film.
Dude, I was so surprised when the first one came out because everybody was like, this is going to be such a rip-off of Saw.
Yeah.
And it, to some extent, I can see the similarities, but I was so surprised that I actually really enjoyed it. It was fun.
It was actually something kind of unique. Like you think to yourself, trying to get out of these escape rooms. I mean, obviously that has become very popular, amongst like corporate, team building exercises. But this was like a much more twisted one, which I mean, to be honest, it probably would be a little bit more fun than the corporate ones. But anyways,
a lot more fun.
But yeah, I mean, now there's a sequel is coming out, Tournament of Champions. Of course, it has had an international release already, but in South Africa, we are getting it on the 27th of August because, hey, Third Wave decided to slap us in the face. But yeah, it's really cool. At least we are getting this movie. I'm super excited. For one reason is that the same director from before is back.
Yes.
Adam Robitel, he's back.
And the same, some of the same actors are back as well.
Yeah, that's the thing.
The ones that didn't die anyway.
Yeah, well, a spoiler alert if you haven't seen the first one. People died in a movie about deathly traps. Feel free to fight us in the comment section. But yeah, I mean, it's super exciting to actually see that they managed to bring it back. Because I mean, I think sometimes a lot of these movies, there are like little, like unexpected hits, like smaller movies that become these smash hits. Sometimes, for sequels, they just try and recycle the same formula and they don't always bring back the same sort of people. But here, it's actually nice to see that they've done that. I mean, the director's back. We've obviously got the leads like Taylor Russell. It's actually really exciting to see what's happening. And I mean, I know, for example, the director was saying that it's going to be tough to try and better the traps from the first one because they used so many good traps, but that they figured out a way of doing it. So I'm excited because I've been avoiding like the trailers for the most part. I've caught a glimpse of one or two of them, and I've been avoiding obviously spoilers online. But I'm super excited to see what they actually do.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I also avoided some of the trailers because a lot of these sort of trailers show you some of what to expect in terms of the traps and stuff. And that's kind of the fun part about this, is going in and not knowing how they're going to get out of those situations or what situations they're going to find themselves in.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing which I think, for example, with Saw has always been part of its marketing. We've always seen these these huge traps. Like, oh, Jesus, this thing's going to be so brutal. And we always see that. And it kind of knocks you back. And you just, but you've already seen the trap. You've already seen, you kind of understand more or less, when that thing's got that bear trap over their face, you kind of know, all right, well, they're going to have to get it off somewhere else. The head's going to split back. But I think with Escape Room, it's a little bit different. And I've always kind of looked at it as more, it kind of feels a bit more like an intelligent sort of Saw movie versus a brutal one. And I think it's because it's not as gory.
Yeah, and it's easier to watch that way. Not everybody can stand watching somebody's head get ripped off or blood and guts everywhere. What's nice about them, they find themselves in tricky situations, but it's not like this gory thing where you have to kind of turn away. You know what I'm saying? That part about it, it's kind of like Saw Light. The lighter, family-friendly version of it.
No, definitely. Look, I mean, I enjoy Saw. I mean, I've been an unabashed fan of the franchise since the beginning. I've watched every single one of the movies. I actually own every single one of them except for the Spiral, because obviously DVDs and Blu-rays are non-existent in the country at the moment because it's obviously all the problems with freight and all of that. But I love all the movies, and when Escape Room came out and I first saw it, I was like, okay, this looks like a bit of a Saw ripoff, but cool, I'll check it out. And it was different. It was slightly different. And obviously, you still got the premise of against the clock, you've got these traps that are like almost set up so you will lose. But it was super exciting to actually see how it worked.
Look, I'll be honest, it can only, the new movie can only be better than the last Saw movie, the Spiral one. I really didn't enjoy that.
Yeah, we've had a discussion.
I was looking forward to it so, I mean, we tried to even get screeners for it beforehand, and we were so excited about it. And then I watched it, and I was like, "Oh my word!"
Yeah, I mean, look, it did.
So hopefully this movie kind of gives us the Saw movie we wanted, the one we were expecting. And,
No, definitely. And I mean, I think, you know what, so far, I think everything is leaning in its favor, for us to enjoy this. Like, the same cast, similar cast, the same director, the story continues. It's not just an entirely, original new story, which I think might have been the problem with Spiral. Spiral tried to reinvent the wheel.
Yes.
Versus where it didn't necessarily need to. You could have just given us, like, you know what, John Kramer's still around, or John Kramer's like legacy still around. We don't need to reinvent the wheel here. But this one, it looks like it's learned the right lessons from the first movie, and it's gonna go ahead and show us. And I mean, I'm super excited for it. But there's also another reason that I'm actually psyched for it, and it's something which I did not know until today.
What?
It was filmed in South Africa.
The first one too.
No. Well, this one, I don't know if the first one was the Escape Room.
So I remember watching it and looking at and I remember this one building where they're like in the main city, and I was like, that's Cape Town, like outside there. I know that exact building, so I knew the first one was shot in South Africa. I didn't know the second one was shot in South Africa. Yeah,
I actually have it open here. It was like, after 50 days of principal and 20 days of second unit, we have officially wrapped photography on Escape Room 2, Rebuttal said in a post earlier this morning, whilst adding his gratitude to the South African crew. It's always bittersweet to come to an end, but I can't wait to share basically, it was filmed in South Africa as well.
That's amazing. Where in South Africa? Exactly. In Cape Town.
I presume so. I mean, everything gets filmed let's be honest. Whenever people film stuff, it's always Cape Town. No one cares about Johannesburg anymore. And I'm sad.
The Avengers, they shot the Avengers there.
Yeah, and they closed down the city and the traffic. It was terrible that day.
Yeah, they can't do that. They can't do that yet. Probably not for Escape Room either. Well,
you guys always having coffee at the coffee shop. So if you close Long Street, then people are going to riot. Then you're going to have a problem there. But besides that, it'll be...
Funny enough, the first Escape Room, that building that I was talking about, is like at the center of town. But I mean, they were indoors, so I think they got away with that. They didn't have to close down anything.
But that's pretty cool. I mean, look, I know that a lot of movies get shot in South Africa. We know that. I mean, we spoke about Bloodshot. I mean, obviously, Dread is another popular one.
Yeah.
But it's kind of nice to see that a lot of Hollywood productions are coming. And I know it's because they say the Cape Town International Studios, A, they get good value for their money. And B, it's world class.
Yes. I mean, speaking as somebody who's filmed there before, they have like these massive lots where it's like different stuff like ships and like, diners, American diners. If you ever get a chance to go there, you'll be like so shocked by how cool it is. It's kind of like an amusement park. You go there and you like see these different settings. There's like a western setting, there's a township setting, and it's very cool. So I can see the appeal totally.
And is it always like, I mean, obviously when you were there, were a lot of the sets being utilized at the time, or just a few of them? Like, was it quite busy? How did you find it?
I was there when they were filming the Vin Diesel movie Bloodshot.
And, yeah.
I mean, that was crazy. Like, the security was so hectic. Like, everywhere you went, there was somebody like, hey, what are you doing here? And I was filming something at the time. And we still had to get past all this security and all this stuff. And yeah, it was interesting because I think that was different. I think they probably shut down some of the other productions at the same time because Vin Diesel was there. So it was yeah. I mean, they had traffic officers, they had police officers, they had security guys, and then they closed off like everything so that you literally couldn't take photos, or you couldn't even see Vin Diesel basically behind the crowd, and they had these massive trees and plants that, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I think Escape Room would have been different though.
Yeah, it would obviously be filmed inside of as you said, it's inside of a building. So, I mean, a lot of people probably just, security at the front door and, just obviously in terms of a level that they're using. But I'm sure that, it would, I mean, I was watching, like the other day, it was a documentary about how they filmed Die Hard, and they used the building like across. It was like a Fox building or something like that, and they actually had lawyers. They were like using that building, and they had to film. And like obviously the days that there were like explosions and sounds, so they were like upsetting like the lawyers, like in the floors below them. And above. And I kind of wonder with like Escape Room as well, if there's like a certain way as well that they're filming it and people are actually using it in that building, and like how annoying it actually is to hear all the sounds, and especially if you're going to cut the scene and you do it a few times.
Yeah. And then I imagine that this film was probably filmed before COVID, right?
Yeah, they finished, I think it said here it was wrap film in January 2020. Because remember, this movie as well was supposed to come out last year in November. Yes. And they pushed it to this year as well because of COVID. So yeah, it's being done for a while, which is, I mean, the good news is that obviously they wrapped it up before COVID. So that was a good thing. Unlike the Batman, which feels like it's been in production since, the beginning of time.
Yeah.
This one actually was done already. So I'd imagine, maybe if they had to do any reshoots or something like that, they probably would be able to do it, or maybe they actually had enough footage. I don't know. That would actually be like interesting to see, or if they were just, okay, cool, we're just going to be working on post-production the whole time.
Look, the film's released in the US already, and I've read some like articles on it, and there seems to be talk about a third one. So I imagine they're probably coming back here at some point to film the third one.
Look, I mean, with a series like this, it makes sense. I mean, it's ripe for sequels. It's that formula, as I say.
It's that sort of thing where you, like Police Academy, where you end up with 10. Police Academy 10.
I'll have you know, I actually watched Police Academy this weekend, okay? And I watched most of them again. And I had a good laugh. Yeah, it is ripe. I mean, it's something like, and I kind of feel that there is a bit of a gap in that in terms of the horror genre like this, because remember, like there was a certain stage that we would get always a Friday the 13th movies, a Nightmare on Elm Street, Final Destination, that sort of stuff. And then Saw kind of came along, and then Saw disappeared for a while. I mean, I guess it's starting to come back again, but there's a bit of a gap there. I mean, Friday the 13th, I know they're stuck in lawsuits at the moment, and we probably will never see Jason again because, he's in court giving, his testimony all the time. And Nightmare on Elm Street as well. I mean, since Robert Englund retired as Freddy, like it's done. We got the reboots that didn't do so well, and since then it's been quiet. So we don't really have those like horror franchises now coming out.
That's true.
And I think this is a good opportunity. Something like Escape Room and Saw, they can fill that sort of gap because and
I mean you because of the idea of it, you could literally do like The Purge did with, in terms of spin-offs to TV, spin-offs to cinema, different versions of the thing, the prequel to what happened to these characters before. I mean,
there's room
there.
A lot of and I think that's like the nice thing is Escape Room is something which you'll go out there to the theater. It's a great night out. You'll have some fun. It's a popcorn flick. You're going to sit there like, oh geez, how are they going to get out of this? It's great fun. And the good part is about it, like with these sorts of movies, you always find they're super successful as well when they go into streaming services, because you're like, oh, I really enjoy that. Let's watch it again on like a Friday night, and you'll watch it again. So yeah.
And what I think is because we underestimated the first one, like it was surprising or cool the fact that the movie was like actually very good. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that added to the value of it, the fact that everybody underestimated it and it turned out to be good.
I did as well, to be honest with you. I mean, it was something which I missed at the theater as well. I remember I saw it come out, I was like, okay. It just kind of flew past me. Like I didn't necessarily like think, okay, I need to go watch this. And then I think it dropped on Netflix or something, and I was like, okay, cool. I wanted to watch it, but I kind of forgot about it.
Hold up. We had a screener for this film. That means you didn't attend the screener.
I didn't.
No, we had a screening. So you didn't attend, and I'm thinking that. Yeah, you didn't attend. I'm assuming, but
probably not.
Everybody that went. But this is again like proof of what I'm saying. Like everybody underestimated this movie, including myself. I mean, I went there and I was like, oh, this is going to be one of those. And then like literally everybody who left the cinema was like, that was really good. That was surprisingly really good.
I think I was washing my hair that night, Jarrod. I think that's no, but like I remember this movie. Like I remember seeing it, like saying, okay, cool, I need to watch it. And I don't know, like I said, for some reason I just didn't watch it at the theater. But when I watched it on Netflix, I was like, this is actually really good. I actually regretted the fact I didn't go watch it.
No, when we were in theater, like people were like, it's one of those movies where people comment while things are happening. They're like, "Get down,"
Yeah.
Look behind you.
Yeah,
like the crowd reacted well with it. So it's a nice one to watch at the cinema, actually.
And that's what you want. You want that sort of like, where it feels like a bit of a ride, where people are sharing the experience with you. And I think, especially now, like, to be honest with you, like, I mean, I've been back to the theater now, obviously, since the pandemic started. I think I've been back 3 times. Yeah. And I've noticed, like, with a lot of movies, like, the stuff I went to go watch was Mortal Kombat, and I think it was A Quiet Place too. And especially with those two, it was a case of that, there weren't a lot of people in the cinema, so you didn't get that sort of vibe. But this movie, like, this is perfectly ripe for that. This is like one of those, like, people are going to be excited, and people are going to be like, oh, like you just say it, like, I can see it happening. And this is like one of those movies I'd like to see. Obviously, I wouldn't want too much of a packed theater just yet. Even though I know studios want, like, I mean, I get it. They obviously want it, but like, at still 50% capacity, I'm okay.
It's such a pity though that because this, like I said, it would be a great film to watch with the audience that's like totally into it. That's the best way to watch it.
But yeah, that's it. I mean, 27th of August, it is coming out. So everyone out there, this is something for you to look forward to. And date night out on a Friday night or something, it could be a good plan.
Very strange date night, but okay.
It's a perfect date night. Okay, you go have
whatever date you're going on. That's very bizarre. Like horror movies. I suppose I do the same.
It's wings. You get wings. You get wings. Then you go to Milky Lane ice cream and a horror movie. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
You sold me. I'll go on the date with you.
Okay, thanks. All right, you're paying this time. All right, cool. All right, to everyone else listening, thanks a lot for tuning in. And yeah, I mean, if you do get to watch it, let us know what you thought of the movie. Was it great? Was it better than the first one? Was it terrible? Let us know in the comment section down below. And until next time, we will see you very, very soon with another podcast with John Kramer.
Oh my goodness.
Cheers, everyone. Peace.